This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Well, welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry Dante meeting preview. Yes, folks, this is our home ground. We're at home, and we're hoping for big bucks this week for you all, certainly for us as well. We've got some ammunition, and joining me tonight are the very best team, although I do confess to one with technical problems. Quentin Franks is trying to join the call, but at the moment can't, but he will give his best bets, I can assure you of that. But joining me on this pod this evening are John Lang and Nick Davis. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening, mate.
Yep, and hopefully we'll get Quentin on. If not, you'll definitely get his best bets, folks. I know you all value Quentin's judgment at the festivals and other races as well. Okay, right, it's the usual format as the Friday show where we have best bets round and we then talk about the racing and the best racing this week over at York. Me and John will be in attendance on the Thursday this week. So if you want to come and give us a shout or come and sit and have a drink with us, you can. We'll be on the champagne lawn. Right, without further ado then, chaps, let's get on with the best bets round. Nick Davis, your third best bet of the Dante meet.
Right, we're going to Thursday and we're going to the first race on the card, 5 furlong handicap. I'm going to go for the Butler Filly Designer, who on its opening start this year at Bath was in amongst some listed racehorses, 103, 104, the ratings there. A good record on 5 furlongs. What was that? No, good record of good record at 5 furlongs, and I think the better ground will suit it tomorrow, on Thursday.
So, Designer for John Butler. I'm just trying to remember this horse off the top of my head.
Ran sixth in the Palace of Holyrood at the Royal.
The Holyrood, yes, the Holyrood race. Yeah, it's a race I actually
like. A length, yeah.
Yeah, length. I mean, the second in that was that the. Hang on, that's it. Latin Lover won the race.
Yeah, Latin Lover won the race. Yeah.
And Nymphadora obviously came out and won at Chester this week as well. Yeah, it's a strong race.
That was behind Nymphadora, was behind Designer at Bath last time out.
Yes. So it's a good reappearance. So Designer kicks us off, folks, for the meeting. 8 to 1 for Nick Davis. I can't give him 9s as it's only with one firm, and our punters moan like hell if we do that. So I'm going to have to give him the 8s with Paddy's, Betfair and Hills. Is that okay, Nick, for your 1 point win?
Fine. Yep.
Nick, happy with that for his first bet on Thursday? Thank you, Nick. Jonas Lang?
Thursday again, actually. A 5:20 race. And I'm going for Rafe and Ralph with Baltic Voyage. Now gelded. This one showed enough at 2 to indicate he had a future, I thought. The more he ran, the more I fancied him going up in trip and what have you. And I think Frankie's a good booking for settling him and getting the best out of him at this trip. Related French listed place 1 mile winner, so he's actually got a bit of class about him, this horse. Sister to a group place 1 mile 2-year-old Baltic Contest, closely related to the 12 furlong winner Baltic Baroness, and a granddaughter of the top class middle distance filly, we'll all remember, Borgia. Yeah. So there's class in abundance here in this pedigree, and last year this horse just never looked happy at these shorter trips. I think this will be the absolute making of the horse. And I'm happy to go, despite the presence of Coverdale and Torre del Oro, who I think are both still very dangerous on increased marks. I think this is a value poke, so I'm happy to go 1 point win.
1 point win. There's only one firm pricing it up at the moment, which is Hills at 10 to 1. But yeah, I'll do a fair price policy with John and listeners. So whatever the sort of group price is, the night before, John can have. So a good case made by John there. That, by the way, John and Nick, is an amazing race because that race would not look out of kilter at Royal Ascot. There's some horses in there. I counted 6 or 7 that you could finish 6 in that and shape with.
It's King George handicap type material, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's top class, and so much so. I mean, I'll reveal now. I won't be tipping my 3-year-old to follow in that because it's such a good eat that honestly, you can finish 5th or 6th and think you're still on for a nice handicap because it will come down to the run of the race, etc. So John's picked out a bit of value there. It's likely to, or possibly going to be double figures. Rafe Ralph's charge in Baltic Voyage. Cheers, John. I'm on Friday as well in the 4:45 race. Might not get in the race. It's just one of them things, really. But I feel I have to tip it because I think there's a lot of life in this. Chalet. For the informed Mick Dodds, who's 21% in the last 2 weeks. He's absolutely shitting winners at the moment. Great feed at the Dodge Yard. Shaped extremely well at Beverley. Nick remembers this race. It was the Hortzada race, Nick, and Dogged. Yeah. They didn't get into it. But Chalet shaped the best of these in terms of his track position off an absolute crawl, which says to me that he's in savage order to do that because he's passing horses that, like Hortzada, Dogged, that had pissed up at, beat Hortzada at Ripon. And I just feel off this mark of 75, when he was in this race last year, John and Nick, he was off 85 and finished 3rd to Il Bandito. So £10 less. He's in form on the last run. He's got some decent form in a lot stronger races than this. He was 6th of 14 to Almobir off 81. He's been 3rd in a Class 2 last season. 5th to Empire State of Mind last season off 83. 75's a gift. So I'm hoping Chalet gets in and is a rewarding.
He's overdone it and he might not get in.
I think, do you know what? I even said in my column on Patreon, £7, folks, get paid. I even said in my column that I hope they go for a Class 5 and we can have the lot on at 5 to 2. Yeah. I'm a 5 to 2 kind of guy because you get more on. It's no good at 6s and 7s. They won't lay you. So Chalet. But I'm hoping that he gets in. He's number 34 and 20 get in. So there is a strong doubt that my 1-pointer won't get in. But that's how it is. That's where we're at.
Half a dozen fuckers running for tickets as well.
Yeah, well, that's it.
There's one interesting one in that one as well. I thought the other one interesting one there was a Taser. He's got a decent jockey for the first time, and he's been run on soft ground for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Let's have a look
Gary
at this.
Kent, Tom Markle. He's put Marquand for it.
I took this when it won at July Cast last year. I think last year.
It hasn't run on its ground for about a year now, nearly.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. About 80, it's one off 82. Nick, I like the shout. That's more likely to get in them with 23. 20 runners, so a Taser might get in the race there. So that finishes round 1. We'll swing it back round. I will go John first this time for the 2-point round.
My 2-point bet is in the 5:15 tomorrow, and that is Saturn 5. Now, Nick's chuckling away. This was only 8 to 1 when making stable debut in April, when he was held up last in a race where the leader of the large field finished second. So they didn't go a great clip. He was doing plenty in Spencer's hands that day, I felt. And unusually, I'm in favour of the application of the hood here because I think he might just drop it a bit, He's got a nice single figure draw in 20 runner field, and he's only had 4 career runs. I think he's open to significant improvement against a lot of horses in the main that belong at Ripon, Redcar and Cartrick. They paid 62k for this at the horses in training sales last autumn. And I think this might be the stepping stone to a slightly higher grade campaign for this horse. Showed plenty of promise for the baby Joseph. I'll go a point each way in case I get Spencered.
A point each way, Saturn 5 for John. Nice case made. I've just watched the last run back. Kind of agree with that. And that is, John, do you want Betfair SP? I can't give you the 8, or do you want the 13 to 2 each way, 5 places, 150 odds?
I'll take the 5 places.
13 to 2. Okay, Saturn 5. Just a shout out for John Basquill and Dan Gilbert, who have got Vegas Sicilia in there. If you're backing that one, it's a hair-raising ride, that one, because when it hits the front, it stops, so you have to time the race to perfection. But I wish them well. But it's sure to go well, that, I think, given its profile. That's for Harry and Roger Charlton, James Doyle in the saddle in that race. Okay, thank you, John, for that. I'll go with my bets, which goes on Thursday in the Hambleton. And I'm very keen. I mentioned this as a potential Hunt Cup horse, and I think this is the perfect way to make sure you get in the Hunt Cup. It's the Sir Michael Stout trained Assessment. Impressed me greatly at Kempton. Much the best, incredibly much the best. It barely asked for anything. Didn't need any whip or resorting to that. I thought he looked the part physically. I think this is Stouty's on Cup horse. I really do. And this is a race he likes to win. He had Ryan Moore booked up on the day it was declared. Day it was entered. So that tells you what this has always been the plan. Even though it's not an amazing price, I'm gonna do Betfair SP with Assessment, because I think at 7-2 at the moment with the books, I think that's just only all right, isn't it? It's you can get 4-1 in places, but I just think you'd probably get that on the day on the machine, that kind of thing. So Assessment at Betfair SP for me in the Hambleton for 2 points. 2 points. Nick Davis.
Well, I'm sort of taking you on in that race. I mean, to go through it, I mean, last year's first and second, now it's going to be this is a lot deeper race than last year's brunch. Cruyff turn hit up.
Yes.
2 O'Meara ones probably want to get their handicap down. Astro King's having its usual pre-run before it runs about 3rd, 4th, or 5th in the Hunt Cup. The front runners, Guiador, Isla K, Imperial Sands, they won't last. I'm going for one that was beaten 44 lengths last time out, but I think it's ready to win. In Croupier, obviously got bogged down after being sort of thing, but it's got big jockeys upgrades now. Last year it beat Exhale Power at Chelmsford and New Pursuit at Windsor. Both come out. I think Exhale Power's £10 higher and New Pursuit's £8 higher. And it's did it with Thrasher and Harry Burns on. And on Thursday, it's got the services of William Buick. I've been waiting for they had Ryan Moore booked on this last week at Chester before it was withdrawn with the rain. It doesn't act on there, so it really wants good. And Mr. Buick's on it. And it's drawn nicely. But what I'm going to do, I do really respect Assessor. I mean, the only thing I have of it, these are about £25 better horses than it raced against at Kempton. So what I'm going to do is 1.5 points from Croupier, 0.5 point straight Assessor Croupier, and that's what I can see the race.
I tell you what, you've made a great case for Croupier. Regards to ground, it's Invincible Spirit out of the Street Crime Air, so it matches the pedigree that it want better ground. So Nick, at 14-1, I can give you because it's bet 365 and William Hill, and. Right. Well, you get 6 places if you want the each way.
No.
1.5.
It'll either win or come second to Assessment. That's 1.5.
Yeah, so 1.5 Croupier, 14-1, 0.5 point forecast. Assessment Croupier, as the saver. I like it. I like the play. That's a shrewd play to finish off the round. I like it. I like the case of that. You're going to make me back that, I think. Right, coming on to the max bet round. I'll kick us off. We're going to tomorrow, the Wednesday, the 4:10 at York, and it's Chuzzlewit. This is a 3-point nailer at 13-2, generally available. My good friend John Lang noted this in terms of mentality on debut and the way it stepped forward. So as he brought my eye to it, I looked at the timing and stuff and the way it went through the race. £17 upgrade it got for Newcastle, which puts it on a really good rating. And I think this horse really has plenty more to come. Physically, it's got a lot in hand. I think it's possibly going to be a stakes performer. You're going to have to probably be some kind of stakes performer maybe to win this. Although I don't think there's that much. It's not the strongest of races I've ever seen. No Endeavour, I think, is JD in a finish. You can see with that gets there and then starts dogging it. Zoo Run there's money for, but again, I don't think this is up to Chuzzlewit. That form at Newcastle, I think, is quite strong. You like Ben Acre, etc. I think it's decent form. So 13-2. 3 points on the nose for me to kick the round off. Nick Davis.
Right then, York tomorrow at 5:15. Number 5, Saturn 5.
Hey, klaxon time. Asthmatic horse. We love it. Yeah, John's just done it.
Yeah, I've looked well behind. The seconds come up and absolutely shit up it. Goodwood, didn't it? And it's made all the running as well in the fog. I don't know why I did that. No, I just think today, providing Spencer doesn't completely mess it up, I think it's going to be. You can't kick it out of the frame, but I'm going to back it to win only 3 points.
Look at that for confidence. Yeah, absolutely. Nick and Jonas together in a klaxon here, and you need to listen to that. I certainly will. 13-2 again for Nick. You can get eights with Port Vale, but you know that's just a one-off. But 13-2 for Nick for his nap.
The music lovers amongst us will get the Inspiral Carpets album out after that.
Spiral Carpets, yeah, fantastic. There we are. John finishes off.
This could finish me off, to be honest. I'm actually playing in the Dante, believe it or not. And true to what I think I've been saying, where I don't think we've had a derby candidate, I'm playing on the pretense that I think there might be a boil over here. And I think there's a case for both of these, because I'm doing an RVB, actually. The first one is Dancing Magic, who ran in the Craven, and the Foxes is quite fancied for this. And the more I watch that Craven, the more I'm convinced that this beats the Foxes over 10 furlongs. He was running on better than the Foxes, coming out the dip, and another 12 furlongs he beats him. And he's gagging for this trip. And the other one is King of Steel, who was badly campaigned last year. He could and should have been put away after the maiden win. But of course, it's the fucking nutters at Ammo, and he went in the Group 1 at Doncaster about 20 minutes after he'd won his maiden. And it was all too much for him. He's a big colt, he's probably still a bit weak. He was very immature in the race, changing legs, and bad experience, really, And I think with a powerful stable like Varian, the fact that he's coming straight here with this, I think it's significant. He's in his second or third spell with Varian after these fucking idiots keep swapping yards with him and Loughnane. But I'm ignoring that. I'm just placing a bit of faith in the horse of potential, and I'm going to play 1.5 points each win on both of these.
That's King of Steel at 25s.
Yeah, and Dancing Magic.
And Dancing Magic at also, I'll give you 28s Dancing Magic.
Yeah.
That's with 3 firms, Bet365, William Hill, and Sporting Index as we speak. So fantastic, John. No one can crib going for a boil over. I can actually see why you've done it, because this year's Dante is tremendous. What a race. What a betting race. You'd never think of Dante. I mean, it shows you how good it is, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers are paying 6 actually, paying 4 places of the mainstream books. So that shows you it's one of the best antes I've seen, because you can make cases for there's plenty of them. And I like it, John, that you took the angle that you can see a shock.
It could be one of them where we're all stood around after the race and like, fucking hell.
Yeah. yeah, precisely.
I can't remember 12 runners in a Dante.
No. It's a cracking race, and York's done tremendous this week because they've got brilliant fields, but we'll come on to that later. So thank you, John, for finishing off the rounds. I've done my money privately with John because I thought we'd have a klaxon with his Chuzzlewit I mean, terrible from me. I thought John had put up trouble with. I did honestly. I really did. I know he likes it. No, he's fucked me there. Anyway, on to Quentin Franks now. He can't get on the show. We tried to get him in several times during the show for some technical reasons. We just can't get him in. It's almost as if like
passport irregularities.
Yeah, there's something weird going off. But good news is we've got his best 3 bets in, so you're not missing out really. I'll try and do my best reasoning to back his selections up. His first one.
You're going to say you're going to do your best Quentin Franks impression.
Mr. Dufresne, be 3 points win. Well, that'll do. It sounds a bit Indian or Welsh or whatever. Anyway, right, 5:15 at York on the Wednesday. Val Bassett is his first one. 1 point win in that. Now, it's funny because I did actually watch this at air, and it was off an absolute crawl and dropped out. Absolutely no chance off the steady fractions. Yeah. So that wouldn't be without a squeak, really. Come from France, it's unexposed. Dave likes a winner at York. Don't forget, he was top trainer at York a bit back. So old Dave, 33-1. He's claiming he can have that. It's Paddy's and Betfair for his 1 point win, and that's tomorrow. So Franks is going for it there to try and beat the Naps King, Jonas Leng, who sits on top of the table at the moment with a double carpet perk. On to the Dante. Frank says on the Thursday, so that's obviously 3:35 if you're looking for the race to back Frank's selection. And Frank's is all over the Foxes at 7-1. What's not to like, really? Stepping up in triple suit. John's convinced Dancing Magic can beat it with the step up in trip. We've always said the Foxes once further. After the Royal Lodge, I thought that. And Sir Franks goes with that. And then last but not least, he goes a 3-pointer again tomorrow in the 150. He wants to side with the shirts, Layakel, at a 3-1 generally available. For a carpet on that. I mean, Layakel, I backed Ascot, and I liked the horse. And then I backed him at Newmarket as well. I thought he was poorly positioned in middle of the pack. He made sort of late ground, but I don't know. I can see it because the Newmarket race didn't suit. I'm not sure the track suited either, to be honest.
He's been absolutely plattered anti-post, hasn't he?
Yeah, lots of money, which is a good sign from the shirt. The shirt.
There was 12-1 available, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a lot of pace in this race.
Well, that could be an issue, certainly, in terms of Layakel won't lead from stall 12. So, and to be honest, like.
I thought his other one would lead.
Yeah,
the Bay, I thought that would lead.
Yeah, the trainer
with White Wolf Trek in it, but I can't see massive maps of pace.
Yeah, no. Right, so that finishes off the 3 points. Sorry, Quentin couldn't be on the show, but at least you've got his selections, which is obviously very important. And now we come on to the next part of the show, where we now go on to the better races at the York meeting for the week to go through the races in more detail, to give you a perspective of how we think. So we're going to concentrate on the group races between the three of us, and then go on to any other business where specific mentions for horses in certain races that haven't made the list, but certainly are worth, possibly putting in your thoughts for the day. So we go on to the first sort of big race, if you like, which is the Duke of York.
1890 something, Duke of York.
We have to. Yeah, that's incredible from York, really. York, Nick, the best run race course in the UK.
Yeah, no nonsense.
Yeah.
say no to nonsense, people of York.
I know. It should be the 1895 say no to nonsense Duke of York Stakes, shouldn't it? Yeah. We don't love that. We'd fucking love that. Anyway, 3-1 favourite, Creative Force, for the boys in blue, and the Carrots team. Is this going to run? 4 days after, what was all that about? Running it on Saturday and then here? I don't know. I mean, am I?
It's funny, yeah.
It is for these lads. I mean, these lads have them. You know for a fact they're never going to turn up to a track slack.
He only had a good workout though Saturday, didn't he?
He did have to do. I must admit, he did have to do much.
He hasn't run a mile and a half, has he? So
yeah. So what we're saying about Highfield Princess, that she was absolutely fantastic last year, and it was bad ground. Remember, John, we were discussing it last year about how.
Yeah, I mean, Highfield Princess is one of the reasons I've got for the horse I've actually selected in this.
Yeah.
So if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'll elaborate.
Of course.
I'll elaborate. Highfield Princess won this last year at 11-2 without a penalty. And she'd had plenty of runs going into this to put her spot on. She'd been active since February. This year she has a penalty and hasn't had a run. Then I'm not sure the form of last year's win particularly stacks up. I mean, Spycatcher was second, for Christ's sake. We know a load of horses underperformed in that race. You know? So I felt, at the time I made my selection, she was 5-2 favourite, and I thought there was every reason for taking her on. And I don't think the fact that she's drifted a bit is too worrying either, you know. I think the fact she might well be in need of the race. My selection is Art Power. Now, before you all start laughing, for the horse himself, he ruined his chances of improving what's already a respectable rating by being quite headstrong. And he had a season with SDS riding him over tracks that didn't particularly suit, trying to make, he had a couple of cracks at Ascot, didn't he, over the 6, trying to lead Group 1 races. It wasn't going to happen for him. 6 on an easy-to-get turf course is just his bag. He did manage to win one at the Curragh last year, I think. When he came back last year, he showed every indication he can be as good as he was. And I thought he was pretty consistent. I'll excuse the blowouts on the all-weather, because I don't think he's an all-weather horse. The final point is Tim is not an idiot. He knows this won't be winning a July Cup or a Platinum Jubilee or a Vernon's. So I think this will be his main target. Tim loves a decent winner here, and I think they've got this thing pumped up for this. He can run well fresh, unlike a lot of Tims, and I think it's quite encouraging there's been bits and pieces for him anti-post. 28-1's a value bet, I think.
That's an interesting shout, because, like you said, there are sections of form throughout last season that doesn't make him anywhere near 28, to be honest.
No. I mean, he's the 6th highest on the official ratings. Also, he's got his knackers off.
And you make a good point. It's like everyone's expecting Tim's to lead a run, but we also know Tim can get him ready. It's just Tim's modus operandi early season with his Andy and shit like that.
I just think Thick Dave will find this also an awful lot more compliant sans knackers, and he'll be able to do what he wants with him. There'll be plenty of pace on, so he'll probably drop it all right. Yeah, I like him very much at the price.
I mean, you've only got to look last season, like 4th to Kinross in the city of York here. Yeah, like I say,
That's 7 as well, isn't it? I mean, he travelled up lovely.
Yeah, 28. I like it, John. And I also like your reasons for Highfield Princess, because she did need it first start back last year, because she turned up fat at Chelmsford.
She's quite good.
Yeah. So they'll have bigger targets for Highfield Princess this year. They'll be thinking like maybe like Nunthorpe and everything else. And
John Quinn's a horseman. I mean, he won't have her there absolutely ribcage showing tomorrow, will he?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she'll lead. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely spot on. I think that's a great analysis. Sorry for blowing smoke, but no, it's good. You've done your work, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, are we missing the obvious with the Australian horse? I mean, I talked to Tim Carroll, and he said they've campaigned it the right way. It's not the greatest sprint in Australia, but it's run a great race at Maidan. And we all know what Australian sprinters can do over here, and it's very unusual for them to bring it over here for the Duke of York. 11-2, 5-1. I mean, normally if you expect Australian sprinter, any Australian sprinter over here, it could be. I mean, I think the best way at the race is probably, if you're a short thing, is to lay creative force and Highfield Princess. Because I'm going to die on the last year's Jim Pratt form, and it's been well back Marshman. That Marshman and Noble Star were well clear of the others. I mean, Cold Case, Galeron. I mean, you could never better stacked up race, could you, for a 2-year-old race there? Sorry, Lee?
I think you're right. I think the astrologist at a current price of 11-2 offers, I think, a significant amount of value. The reason being that it's been kept busy. It's like John made the point about Highfield Princess being kept busy, and this is sort of had a run at last 2 starts at Flemington and then at Maidan. So it's been to Dubai, finished a good second in the Al Quoz, which again, like second in the Al Quoz, I mean that's strong form. Al Sahel, which never seems to get beat out there because it loves the carrots. It loves the carrots.
I mean, the way I might play the race is go for the lot, have a few exactors, Art Power, Marshman, the astrologist.
Yeah, I thought John made a super case. You've made a super case, and I'm against Highfield Princess definitely. That's the angle for me tomorrow, and I'm going to play John's and your selection in the Clipper, Duke of York Clipper, the 1895 non-stakes, 335 York, the Musidora. Jonas Lang, I'm coming to you first because the Stouts lot like Infinite Cosmos, don't they?
Very much, yeah. I was told at the start of the year if they had a classic horse, this was the one. She's duly knocked off her maiden with a minimum of fuss. From what I can gather, she's done everything right coming into this. They're very pleased with her, and they'll be very disappointed if she doesn't win.
Interesting. I know, like a lot of people look at it and say, well, hang on a minute, you've got an horse with an official sort of like rough, not an official rating because she hasn't got one, but probably runs to 90, 95 at the moment against the horse that's rated 113 that's 11-2. You'll get the obvious people saying, well, why should we take 7-4, John?
Well, I wouldn't particularly recommend taking 7-4. I think there's a lot better bets this way. But those that think she can win will probably either already be on to the Oaks or maybe take a bit of the 7-1 to the Oaks.
Yeah.
Because she wins this, she goes there, doesn't she?
Yeah. I do really like her a lot. I think she's a quality filly. And she did that with a minimum of on reappearance without really being seriously asked. Gather Your Rosebuds, I thought was slightly interesting. The fact that I've got to run into about 102 on debut on the clock.
Incredibly interesting that the Magnia Shanahan axis is sending one to Shannon.
Well, that's it. That's the other thing. I was shocked when I was doing the video watching. I didn't even think who owned it, and then I looked and twice.
Has Shanahan thought? Well, has Shanahan not realised how he spells his surname and thought Shannon's a cousin or something?
I mean, it is a weird one. You might
Jack only let Mick out once a week now or something.
It must be that. But I mean, Jamie Spencer is booked, and I found that strange given that this sort of like made the running more or less last time and just kicked clear.
Right, one of these you can do anything with.
Spencer's very good when he does go from the front. He just doesn't like it that much. He's very good. He can be very good from the front.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? He's done his career like. I mean, that's why it never worked out at Coolmore, because he went to the Breeders' Cup and he's dropping all the like 1.5 boats in the Breeders' Cup turf out the back. You know, it's just mental. He is mental. But anyway, that's Spencer. So will he get Spencer? But that's useful. Gather Your Rosebuds useful. So this is an intriguing race. And John's always been quite bullish on this Infinite Cosmos, but like he also says, he's not diving in at 7-4 when you've got the standard of ammunition that we've got this week. Just to finish off on day one, I'll do any other business for you guys on day one before we go on to day two. I thought I'd mention a Kevin Ryan newcomer tomorrow at York, 4:45, 5 furlong race. It's called Mon Nasleeve. If I pronounce that wrong, I probably have, as the Aben and argument rages on like Chipotle and Chipotle. Mon Nasleeve, have I done that right? Irish listeners, let me know. Kevin Ryan thinks this is Royal Ascot class. So I'm astonished to see this 18-1, especially when you can see Barnaby is at sort of 16-1-ish. And Tom Eves now gets the choice because, believe it or not, 2% Tom is now 12% Tom because he's riding the Triers. And they've bought this for Ascot, and literally they think, and it was a breeze up horse. I like the breeze up. This is fast, so that won't be 18s. You can forget that. That's going to be probably 16s tomorrow. But you get the point. Yeah, that's very highly regarded, Kevin Ryan's horse. So I'm amazed to see that sort of price floating around. So that's my business for tomorrow. Any other business for you tomorrow, John? Interesting.
In Chuzzlewit's race.
Oh no.
No. I mean, I do like Chuzzlewit, but I would urge people a little bit wary of Correggio.
Oh yeah, this is
back on the ground.
This is Jack Veach.
Yeah, well, I made a point watching the tapes of his two last races last year. The Leicester run, really impressive, his action, proper low ground grabbing action, you know. And then no surprise he couldn't cope with that ground at Newbury. No surprise at all. In fact, he did incredibly well to finish where he did. That is better than its mark.
Yeah. 93, and that's about 11s. So Jack will be all over Correggio, I bet, tomorrow against me.
I'd be very surprised if he's not tipping that up tomorrow.
Yeah. No, he's got to do, really, because if he knew its mark when he when he did the show. So obviously he knows what it's rated and what he thinks. So I would imagine he would be. So Jack Veach,
and it'll be easy to spot because Roger Taylor uses them stupid breast gas, doesn't he?
Yeah, and 10 stone Adam Kirby with the 6 pound overweight bouncing up and down in the saddle. That's the only problem there. Nick.
In the sprint, I thought the booking of Buick, who's 1 and 3 on this horse, the Silver Samurai, will help. He's got Lethal Levi to tie him in the race, and the stalls are on the far side, unusually for this meeting. It's been nibbled at the betting from 18s down to 12s and 11s in the place, I see. But I thought that back from Newmarket, where it's usually never run, back at York, where he's got a decent old record. He's been placed there a couple of times, and Buick is 1 and 3 on him.
He has got a decent record at York. Second to Chalet. Third to Summergand and third to Strike Red off 86, 97 and 97. 97 he's off, and they've gone for Buick. So Nick likes one at a price. Okay, if we're done, folks, we shall move to Thursday, where we look at our feature races, which are, of course, Middleton and the Dante. We'll look at them then, any other business. So the Middleton is where we start, and we've got a very good filly here at the top of the market in John Gosden's Free Wind with Wanky Frankie in the saddle. Before her injury, she progressed into something very useful, I felt, in her last 2 starts. So I thought I'd do some digging. And I've got my best snout on the case here on this. And they say she's working extremely well and wouldn't be 100%, but he's certainly fit enough to win this, as they fancy winning Group 1s this season with her. Take the 13-8. I don't think you'll get that on the day, that I said that about Arrest. And Arrest ended up sort of drifting all day and still pissing up. But Free Wind, that's the bet in the Middleton. Chaps?
Agree entirely.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue.
It's a Fillies rating. Yeah, Fillies. Can't be doing with them. Only in jacuzzis for Nick can he be doing Fillies. Right.
He's a dirty bastard.
Nick wouldn't get out of the tub for 2 hours. Right.
Bloody hell. But it was counter-sung.
Oh, God. I just wish I was born earlier. Anyway, 3:35 at York, the Dante. What a tremendous race this is. We'll do this in a bit more detail because we can go through the runners here and just, absolutely give positives for a lot of them. I think Epicetus is the right favourite. Personally, that's how I priced it personally as favourite. I thought the run at Epsom, people say, well, he got the favoured stands rail and this, that and the other. But I just feel this horse I don't think gets 12. I think this is epic.
I wouldn't be sure it gets 10 plus 110 yards.
Well, that's the thing, John. I think this is just about the ceiling for it, and I think that's why it just it could do, but I wouldn't take the price. I'm not saying I would take that price, not at all. But I'm saying that for me should probably be 5. Then we go on to Flying Honours. I think that improves obviously for the extended trip at the Zetland last back end, but
yeah,
I'm not keen on that at all at 92. Thoughts on that, John? Nick?
He's probably got the most stamina on record at the moment, hasn't he?
I think so. I think he's going to get 12, no problem. No problem.
I mean, you see, there's several here keen, aren't they? They want to be keen. I don't know how they'll settle as 3-year-olds, but as 2-year-olds, a few of them were keen. I mean, I've looked at the race to see if I can't make a bet in it. So,
well, Johnston makes the running, doesn't he?
Yeah, on Killybegs. Yeah, you think so? What we're saying about what we're saying? No, Dick. But when was the last Wood Ditton winner to win a Dante?
No, Wood Ditton.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I really
Leonardo did. No, that got
yeah. But it's, I mean, I can't remember the last Wood Ditton winning in the Classic either.
Did Hutch win a Wood Ditton?
No, but that one second at Newbury and then won the Dante, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm second in a maiden at Newbury, then that was
Harry Rad.
Yeah, and then won the Dante when Dunbeef was favourite.
Yeah, and then won the Dante with a maiden as well, Red Glow, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the one that was totally unsuited in Newmarket.
Yeah.
York, and then was totally unsuited to Epsom, and that was the end of it.
Absolutely wrecked him, Epsom, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but Passenger. I mean, given how green it was in the parade ring and the paddock beforehand, and
what worried me about this?
Go on.
The original plan was to go to Chester, and then they had to take it out because of the ground. I think they were going to Chester to really close this arse up.
Yeah.
And I think he might just be a bit clueless between the 3 and 2 poles, and it could cost him. His inexperience could really count against him, I think. Yeah,
Stall 1 as well, John, might not be ideal, because then let's say if you just
every chance of getting shuffled back, yeah.
Yeah, you're on back foot all the time. So I want to choose Stall 1 for Passenger. Canberra Legend obviously was a selection for us in the Fielding. And
some bar stewards are holding 80-1 vouchers, aren't they?
Absolutely, they're all bouncing, and this is a nice looking horse, John. I mean, I did. Did you mention it about this horse on looks? I can't remember, but
he's canny.
Yeah. I mean, James Ferguson says he thinks he's the best he's trained, and that includes. So he's had Dover Legend. So that's a guideline here at 13-2. This probably is a little bit of value, probably a bit underlooked in the market, because I just think this horse. I don't think Newmarket suited him, John.
Wouldn't have been ideal. No, he didn't perform well into the dip.
No.
He was perfectly good coming out of the dip, but
he was, yeah, because he were a million. He went from sort of a million about a furlong out to oh my god, whoa, raw,
Yeah, it was particularly ropey going down into the dip, I thought.
Yeah.
What do you make of the bottom? What do you make of the bottom one?
White Birch.
Yeah.
I think okay, but I genuinely don't. I genuinely think, given the quality of this Dante, in terms of consistent quality through the race, I'm going to say no. I'm going to pass on White Birch.
It's deep enough, isn't it?
It is,
as opposed to what he's won last twice.
Yeah, I mean, there's money for the kilt horse, dear my friend, but I can't.
We've all been impressed if that wins.
We were at Middleton Park dancing. Mike Prince jumping up and down at Middleton Paddock, shouting Erling Haaland and Man City and Kipak stand and all that shit. Fuck him. So no, we're not them. Yeah, I'm going to go Canberra Legend and probably the Foxes. I respect John's picks also in terms of a boil over. Can see why he thinks that'd be where I'm going at the moment. Nick, what would you do?
I'd probably lay the top 2 in the betting.
Yeah.
Or top three is a better maybe. Because flying on some passenger, I'll probably lay those.
Yeah, passenger, like John says, that's a tough draw to overcome. That's still one for a horse like John says that might need to be taught in terms of development. So it's not the be all and end all. They're not bothered if they get beaten this anyway. They're running to see what they've got. Any other business for Thursday?
No.
Nicholas?
Yes, I'm very annoyed they put Michaela's boy in the list. Very annoyed. I want to shoot some of these racing managers or trainers or whatever.
Yeah.
He's wasting a good handicap mark, and I'll probably have to throw away 40 quid just in case I don't kick the telly if he wins at 25 or something like that.
Fucking Mick Appleby, what a fucking idiot. I mean, like you've said, Nick's highlighted on his blog on Patreon when he's been doing his blogs and his tipping pieces. He says, Michaela's boy, Gosforth Park Cup. And what do? They come here.
Oh, disgusting.
Right, Friday time. Just the one race to look at here, which is the Yorkshire Cup over 1.75 miles. Obviously, we don't know the running plans of anything yet. Any thoughts on this race, John and Nick?
Ooh, hideous place to see. Hideous thing to have a betting, isn't it? You won't know what. Broom's gone up to 2 miles now. Bloody hell, this has been travelling around the world and now gone up 2 miles and one.
Do you know what? Nick, I think Broom is unexposed. It's 1.6 miles this, but I think 2 miles Broom's fine. He's enjoying it because like when horses do it for all the lives and they're having to do 1.5 miles in King George's and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're having to go lung busting fraction, and then all of a sudden they just have to stretch out. And it's like, well, this is all right, 13 seconds, 13 and a half, 14, 13, 13. You're running against trash can. It's like, I just think the lad enjoyed it. Like in Dubai, when he beat Siskany, he was just travelling like a dream. And he just thought, well, he's just enjoyed that.
There's a nice gap between these races as well, isn't he?
Yeah, if Broom's declared, I'm all over Broom. I'm backing Broom. I think Broom's in for a big summer. I think 7-year-old's perfect for a 2 mile stayer. And that's where I'm at. Broom, for the 1.6 miles at York, as we know, you don't want to be making running, apart from Quickthorn when they all fucking let it on easy at York. In the Lonsdale last year when it beat Coltrane by 14 lengths. I know that's limiting my thoughts, but I'm a Broom fan if that's entered, but I'm not sure they will.
But he's trying Bolshoi Valley again, isn't he? Lee River. It was heavy last time he tried it at Navan, but he's trying that again at full scene after spending most of life at 8. Well,
that's got more fucking air miles than Alan Whitner, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I miss his shit. So we're not really any solid thoughts, have we? So no. Let's go for other business on the last day then. What are we thinking?
Right, I've got one for you. In the 4:45, Goya Churchia, Kenny Dalglaciers. This had a terrible run last time out at Mussey and still managed to finish 4th.
It did.
And has come down...
Fifth, John.
Fifth. Oh, research is that. And has come down from a peak mark of 97 to 83. Now, he's undeniably well treated in this.
Yes.
And Kenny can have winners at this meeting. Not as many miles on the clock as most of this type when they're H5. So might even have a little bit improvement to come. I think this is a fairly solid investment, to be honest.
I think you're right. You're in my race in terms of Chalet.
We can have a few combination
footballs.
We got one.
David. And you've just got fucking lovely pair of hands, Graham Lee. What a shit jockey he is. Yeah. He's absolutely dire. I can't have the lad. Honestly, I don't know. He's just weak. Just. He
doesn't look like he wants to be there, does he?
No. I mean, look at poor Bob Cooper when Graham Lee savaged him in the paddock for Bob Cooper daring to have a go at Graham Lee for a bad ride. Horrible. Can't be doing with him. Hated.
The other one I liked on Friday is in the the listed Fillies race, which opens the card. Which I know it's the sort of thing where I would balk at having a bet as a result. And I did notice that Dorothy Lawrence looked far from fully wound up for debut at HQ, but went off favourite anyway. Charles Boat Ryan Mower, which obviously is a good sign. Soldier's Call Filly, who I tipped to be thereabouts rest of the season sire. He's made a good start.
Yeah, he did.
I like her as a type, and I really like the fact that he's sending a maiden here. I wish it had been the one I had to back at Ascot last week and take short price about, but beggars can't be choosers. And I'm hoping to still draw some money off a Calvert maiden in the Marygate.
Interesting, John. Like the reasoning. And secondly, this is a race that the late great Mel Britton used to run one in this, John.
Yeah.
And then ruin it for the season.
Yes.
he'd get a lovely 2-year-old filly, and to make a nice debut somewhere like Thirst, finishing a nice run on third.
The French that won it ripping, didn't it, on debut, and everybody bragged. A nice one there, Melvin.
Yeah. And then it beat Marygate, and then brains blown out, and that's it.
I think it was rated 67 in that season.
Speaking of the Britton clan, John, our old Mondermedge is out Thursday. We're going to get to see Mondermedge in the flesh on Thursday.
We'll get some selfies with Mondermedge.
Yeah, this is the second start of his 53 race campaign for 2023. So good old Mondermedge is back. He's with the living. That's what we need.
I was surprised he was only entered the once this week. I thought he could have run a couple of times.
I think so. A prep, maybe a prep for that. Yeah. It's disappointing, but the producer is coming on Thursday, and certainly she's excited to see Mondermedge. Maybe a selfie with Mondermedge and Anthony for
absolutely. Can we just quickly swing back to Thursday and the 5 furlong sprint?
We can.
Copper Knight indicated to me that he's absolutely on the way back at Chester last time. I thought he made a very good assist of things, to be honest. And I think Tim's done wonders, really, getting this old boy off this mark for this race. I mean, he started last season's campaign off a ridiculous 105, and he runs here off 88. And I think the spark, while not maybe burning as brightly, is still there. And I think he'll be really competitive off 88 on Thursday.
Good stuff, John. That's an hard race, that, though.
Yeah.
It's a good race, very good race. The favourite, when the dealing's done, you know that one.
Yes, yeah.
You do. But, yeah, I like it. Okay, Copper Night for John for former glories. Nick, coming to you for any other business on Friday.
The only business I've got is at Newmarket.
Right.
Ashkey in the 4:35. Charlton and Doyle ran no kind of race on ground. I wouldn't think it's been entered up about and pulled out about 3 times on ground, and now they've got Doyle on it. They were going to have a Buick on it last the Guineas meeting, and it was pulled out because of the ground. And now it's back in a Class 4, which it can win. It's off top weight, but I think it can go. I've no idea what price it's going to be, but that would be my only thing for Friday.
Good stuff, mate. Like it. Right. Hope you've all enjoyed that, because we have. And despite the disappointment of not getting Quentin on the show, at least we could ramble on more and talk more shit throughout the show. So we hope you've got enough ammo there for the week. We hope we've certainly enlightened you, and hopefully, if you fancy some of your selections, maybe you've got the same as us, and then that boosts your confidence, and you have double on. Bet responsibly, bet more. That's all from us on this show for the York preview meeting. Bye for now.